Listen to me. Before we can stop being average, we've got to understand what average really means. Because see, the problem is, too many of you think average is just about grades. You think it's about getting a C on a test or being middle of the pack in your class. No, no, no. Average is deeper than that. Average is a mindset. Average is when you decide to do just enough to get by. Average is when you clock in your effort, not from your potential, but from your comfort. Average doesn't start in your report card. It starts in your attitude. It's when you say, at least I tried, instead of, I gave it everything. It's when you do the minimum because that's what everybody else is doing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When the teacher says, submit it by Friday, and you wait till Thursday night to even start. When you've got a test coming up and you say, I'll study later, knowing full well later never comes, that's average. Average is when you've got a dream. You treat it like a hobby. Let me tell you something. Average people have potential too, but they bury it under excuses. They have the same 24 hours as the top students, the same opportunities, the same access to books, the same internet, the same teachers, but their mindset limits them. See, average isn't about your situation, it's about your standard. You can come from the toughest background, you can face the hardest challenges, but if your standard is high, if your mindset says, I refuse to be average, then nothing can stop you. Here's the truth. Being average is comfortable. It doesn't demand too much. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't stretch you. You don't get judged. You don't fail often. You don't take risks. But you also don't grow. You don't change. You don't live to your full capacity. And the sad thing is, most people are okay with that. They're okay being part of the crowd. They're okay being unnoticed, unseen, unchallenged. But deep down, they know they're meant for more. They know they've got greatness inside them. They can feel it. That restlessness, that frustration, feeling that they could do better but never do. That's the soul telling you you're living below your level. You've got to wake up and redefine what average means to you. When you see yourself given 50%, when you know you could have given 100%, call it out. Stop saying, I'm doing fine. No, fine is not enough. Good enough is not good enough anymore. Excellence should be your baseline. You've got to start asking yourself every day, am I showing up as the best version of me or the comfortable version of me? Because one of them leads to success and the other one keeps you stuck. Let's be real. Average is not about ability. It's about choices. It's not that you can't do more. It's that you've chosen not to. You've chosen comfort over growth. You've chosen laziness over discipline. You've chosen excuses over effort. And until you face that truth, you'll keep living at the same level, wondering why nothing changes. The moment you become aware, truly aware, that average is a choice, you gain your power back. You realize that you can choose differently. You can choose to stay after class. You can choose to wake up earlier. You can choose to give one more hour, one more page, one more problem, one more try. That's when you separate yourself. That's when you start to rise. And here's the part most people miss: average doesn't show up overnight, and neither does excellence. They both grow, one decision at a time. Every small moment where you settle, that's average growing. Every moment you push harder, that's greatness growing. You decide which one wins. So from today on, every time you catch yourself saying, it's okay, I want you to stop and ask, is this really the best I can do? Because if the answer is no, then you already know what you need to do. Stop accepting average as normal. Stop wearing good enough like it's a badge of honor. You were not built for average. You were built for excellence. Let me tell you something. If you want to stop being average, you've got to find your average why. Because without a why, without a reason that wakes you up before the alarm clock, you're never going to last. You might start strong. You might get hyped for a week, but the moment life hits you, and it will hit you, you're going to fold. See, when you don't know why you're doing something, you start to drift. You go through the motions. You show up, but you don't show out. You do the work, but your heart isn't in it. And that's what average people do. They move without meaning. You've got to understand this. Your why is your fuel. It's the fire that keeps you going when the motivation runs out. Because let's be honest, motivation is easy when things are fun, when everything's going right. But when it's 3 a.m. and you're exhausted, when that assignment's due and your eyes can barely stay open, when everybody else is chilling and you're grinding, that's when your why matters. That's when you need something bigger than comfort, bigger than excuses. Some of you are struggling not because you're not talented, not because you're not smart, but because you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You're chasing grades with no goal, chasing success with no purpose. You wake up and do what everyone else is doing: study, scroll, sleep, repeat. and you wonder why it feels empty. It's because your life doesn't have a direction. You're like a ship without a compass, drifting wherever the wind blows. Your why gives you direction. It gives your effort meaning. When you have a why, every sacrifice starts to make sense. You stop saying, I have to, and you start saying, I get to. You stop complaining about the grind because you understand what it's building. Your why turns pain into purpose and obstacles into opportunities. That's what separates those who achieve from those who give up. So what's your why? Maybe it's your family. Maybe you want to break a cycle, make them proud, give them the life they deserve. Maybe it's your future. You've seen struggle and you refuse to let your kids see the same. Maybe your why is personal. Maybe you're tired of doubting yourself, tired of being overlooked, tired of living below your potential. Whatever it is, you've got to own it. You've got to let it burn inside you every single day. Because when your why is strong, your how doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. You'll make it happen. You've got to write it down, visualize it, speak it out loud. Remind yourself of it when you want to quit. Average people quit because they lose sight of why they started. Great people push through because they remember. When it gets hard, when life hits you with problems, when you fail that test, people doubt you. Your why is what gets you back up. It's what keeps you consistent when the results aren't showing yet. Listen, the reason some of you keep restarting, keep procrastinating, keep falling off, is because your why isn't real to you yet. You're chasing something you don't truly care about. And if you don't care about it, you'll never give it your all. Stop doing things just because it looks good or because someone told you to. Find what sets your soul on fire, because when you know why you're doing it, the work becomes different. The hours feel lighter. The challenges feel smaller. The process feels worth it. Your why is your anchor when the storms hit. It's your foundation when the world shakes. Without it, you'll crumble under pressure, but with it, you'll rise no matter what comes your way. So before you talk about success, before you talk about being great, sit down and ask yourself, why do I want this? Because once you answer that, once you find your why, everything else starts to fall into place. Find your why, and you'll never live average again. Let me keep it real with you. If you want to stop being average, you've got to outwork everybody around you. There's no shortcut, no secret formula, no magic motivation that replaces hard work. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have the best teachers, the best resources, the best ideas. But if your work ethic is weak, you'll lose to somebody who's willing to grind harder than you. That's the truth. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Single time. I'm tired of seeing people talk about what they want, but not backing it up with effort. You say you want to be successful, but you're sleeping in. You say you want to be top of your class, but you study only when you feel like it. You say you want to change your life, but you're still giving half. Listen, talk doesn't build results. Desire doesn't pay off. Sweat does. Sacrifice does. Consistency does. Some of you have convinced yourselves that working just enough is fine, that doing the same as everyone else will somehow make you stand out. But the truth is, average effort produces average results. If you want more, you've got to give more. If you want to rise above, you've got to outwork, outlearn, and outlast the crowd. That means putting in hours when nobody's watching. That means showing up when you're tired. That means doing one more repetition, one more page, one more question when your brain says you're done. You see, work ethic isn't about the hours. It's about the mindset behind the hours. It's about what you do when the motivation fades. Anybody can work hard when it's easy, but when it's hard, when it's boring, when the excitement wears off, that's when your character shows. That's when the difference between average and excellent gets revealed. Seen people with less talent win because they refused to quit. They stayed in the library when everyone else went home. They studied through the weekend while others partied. They practiced until they got it right. They practiced again until they couldn't get it wrong. That's what separates the top 1% from the rest. They understand that greatness doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you do consistently. You've got to stop waiting for the perfect moment. There's no such thing. The perfect time is when you decide to give your best. Some of you keep saying, I'll start working harder when I feel ready. No, start now. You're never going to feel ready. You have to discipline yourself to do the work regardless of how you feel. That's what winners do. They don't let feelings dictate their effort. They show up every day because they made a decision that their dreams are non-negotiable. And let's be clear, hard work isn't glamorous. It's not about flashy success or quick results. It's early mornings, long nights, repetition, frustration, failure, and getting back up anyway. It's pushing through the pain, through the boredom, through the doubt. But that's where the magic happens. That's where transformation begins. You can't skip the grind and expect to shine. The grind is the shine. Stop comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their sweat. You don't see the hours they put in behind the scenes. You just see the results and call it luck. There's no luck, only labor. So if you want to stand out, stop blending in with lazy habits. Stop doing the minimum. Set a standard for yourself that nobody else can touch. Be the person who shows up early, stays late, and gives their best even when nobody's clapping. Every step you take in hard work builds something inside you: strength, focus, discipline. That's what average people never experience because they quit before the reward shows up. But if you stay consistent, if you give it everything, you'll wake up one day and realize you've become unstoppable. So if you want to rise above average, don't just talk about it, outwork everybody. Listen, motivation is good, but discipline is everything. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Because let's be honest, you're not always going to feel like it. You're not always going to wake up inspired. There are going to be days when you're tired, when your mind says, skip it, when everything in you screams to take a break. And in those moments, motivation won't save you. Discipline will. See, motivation is like a spark. It burns bright, but it burns fast. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the spark dies. Motivation gets you excited about your goals, but discipline is what makes you achieve them. The average person waits to feel ready. They wait for that perfect mood, that right energy, that magical burst of inspiration. But those who rise above average, they don't wait. They act. They do it whether they feel like it or not, because they understand that greatness isn't built on feelings, it's built on habits. You think successful people are motivated all the time? No. They just decided to stop negotiating with their excuses. They made a commitment, and they stuck with it. They said, no matter how I feel, I'm going to show up. That's discipline. It's waking up early when the bed feels too good. It's opening your books when your brain is screaming for rest. It's saying no to distractions when every part of you wants to give in. It's doing the hard stuff, not once, but every single day. Discipline is doing it when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when it feels like nothing's changing, because that's where most people quit. They think, I've been doing this for weeks, I don't see results. And they stop. But the disciplined person knows. Consistency always pays off. The results don't come when you want them to, they come when you've earned them. And the only way to earn them is through discipline. Let me break it down for you. Motivation is external. It comes from videos, speeches, quotes. Discipline is internal. It comes from a decision deep inside you that says, no matter what, I'm not quitting. Motivation fades when life gets tough. Discipline grows stronger. When things don't go your way, when you fail, when you fall behind, discipline says, get up. Keep going. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's powerful. Some of you are stuck because you keep chasing motivation instead of building discipline. You spend hours looking for something to inspire you instead of just starting. You don't need another pep talk. You need to train your mind to do what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. That's how you build strength. That's how you build focus. That's how you build success that lasts. And the best part, discipline spreads. Once you master it in one area of your life, your studies, your workouts, your routines, it starts to shape everything else. You start trusting yourself more. You start walking differently. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop wishing for change and start working for it. Don't get it twisted. Discipline doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you push through the struggle. It means when your friends give up, you keep going. It means when your emotions say stop, your commitment says continue. And over time, repetition rewires your brain. It turns effort into habit and habit into excellence. You don't become great by accident. You become great by discipline, by showing up, by staying consistent, refusing to let your feelings decide your future. So if you want to rise above average, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop chasing motivation. Build discipline, because that's what separates dreamers from doers. Let me tell you something real. Everybody loves winning until they lose. Everybody loves the idea of success until they taste failure. But if you're serious about greatness, you've got to learn how to fail forward. Because failure is not the end, it's the process. It's the classroom where the strongest lessons are taught. Average people run from failure. They hide, they give up, they make excuses. But the ones who rise, they face it, they study it, and they grow from it. See, life is going to test you. You're going to fall. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You might give everything to a goal and still come up short. Here's the thing. That's not the time to quit. That's the time to learn. Every failure is a mirror that shows you where you need to get better. Every setback is a setup for your next level. Only if you're willing to stay in the game. Some of you are one failure away from greatness, but you'll never know it because you quit too soon. You think that because you failed once, you're not good enough. No. You failed because you tried. You failed because you stepped out of your comfort zone. You failed because you were brave enough to take a shot. Something average people will never understand. They fear failure more than they fear regret. They'd rather play it safe than take a chance on their own potential. Listen, you can't grow if you're afraid to fall. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard came with failure. Nobody wakes up great. Nobody wakes up confident. They earned it through pain, through rejection, through struggle. The only difference between them and everyone else is they didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel. You've got to stop taking failure personally. Failure doesn't mean you're not capable. It means you're being challenged to improve. It means life is testing your patience, your grit, your hunger. You've got to start asking, what is this teaching me? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Because the mindset you bring to failure determines what you get out of it. You can let it break you or you can let it build you. When you fail, don't retreat. Reflect. Don't sulk. Study. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I do better? How can I turn this loss into wisdom? That's how winners think. They don't waste time crying over what didn't work. They spend time learning how to make it work next time. Every failure refines you, toughens you, and prepares you for success you wouldn't have been ready for otherwise. And let's be clear, failing forward doesn't feel good. It hurts. It's disappointing. It makes you doubt yourself. But that pain, that's growth in disguise. That's life stretching you for something greater. The key is not to get stuck there. Feel it, but don't live there. Cry if you need to, but when you're done crying, wipe your face and get back to work. Because success doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your fight. You've got to be resilient. Resilience means you bend but don't break. It means you fall down 7 times and get up 8. It means you keep showing up, even when nobody believes in you yet. It means you keep going, not because it's easy, but because you've decided that quitting is no longer an option. That's what separates average from unstoppable. Remember, failure isn't final. It's feedback. It's preparation. And every time you get back up after falling, you're building something powerful inside you: confidence, toughness, belief. That's how you become stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fear, stronger than the word average. So when failure shows up, don't run from it. Face it. Learn from it, grow from it, fail forward, because that's how champions are made. Listen to me, if you want to separate yourself from average, you've got to make excellence your standard, not something you chase once in a while, something you pull out when someone's watching, but something you live by every single day. Because excellence isn't about being perfect, it's about committing to being your best in everything you do. It's about saying, if my name is attached to it, it's going to be done with pride. It's going to be done with purpose. It's going to be done with excellence. Oh, see, average people only give effort when it's convenient. They do things halfway. They cut corners. They do just enough to pass. But when you decide that excellence is the only way you move, your life changes. You stop asking, is this good enough? And you start asking, is this my best? That's the mindset shift that separates those who talk from those who achieve. You've got to hold yourself to a higher standard than the world does. You've got to stop waiting for someone to push you. Excellence means you push yourself. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need someone checking on you to make sure you're doing the work. You do it because that's who you are now. Excellence is not an act. It's an identity. When you walk into a classroom, when you step onto a field, when you show up at your job, you bring excellence with you. You don't do it to impress. You do it to express who you are. People can feel that. They can see the difference between someone doing something out of obligation and someone doing it with passion, with care, with discipline. Excellence demands that you give attention to the details. It demands that you show up early, stay focused, and finish strong. Not because someone's watching, but because you're watching. And here's the thing, excellence isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It means holding yourself accountable when nobody else will. It means saying no to distraction, saying no to mediocrity, saying no to good enough. It means you set a bar and refuse to lower it no matter what's happening around you. The average person will say, that's too much, but that's why they stay average. You've got to be willing to do more, give more, expect more. You can't expect to live an excellent life doing average things. You can't expect to win with lazy habits. Excellence requires consistency. It's not about one great performance. It's about showing up with greatness over and over again. You can't study hard once and expect success. You can't focus for 1 week and expect transformation. You've got to make excellence your routine, your rhythm, your default setting. And don't get it twisted. Excellence is not about comparing yourself to others. It's about competing with the version of you from yesterday. It's about asking, did I grow today? Did I improve today? Did I give more today? Because when you live like that, success becomes a byproduct of your mindset. Excellence attracts opportunity. Excellence builds confidence. Excellence creates impact. When you commit to excellence, you start to carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You work differently. You think differently. People notice, doors open, and blessings find you, not because of luck, but because you built yourself into the kind of person success can trust. That's what average people never understand. They want the reward. They don't want to raise their standards. You can't reach greatness living by average rules. You've got to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever will. You've got to look at every task, no matter how small, and give it your all. Because if you can't be excellent in the little things, you'll never be excellent in the big ones. So don't wait for excellence to find you. Make it your standard, your expectation, your way of life. Because when excellence becomes who you are, average will never be an option again.